My name is Freddie Blackett. I'm co-founder and CEO of Patch. At Patch, we help people discover and buy the right plants for their home. And in doing so, we are trying to help the millennial generation get into gardening, which up to this point we feel has been really quite difficult. So you go onto the site, www.patch.garden. We ask you a few questions about your space and your experience of gardening, like how much light does your space get, how much wind does it get, really important factors for determining which plants you should choose. And then at that point we show a kind of a narrower range of plants that are appropriate for you and your home or your office. So I moved into my then girlfriend, now wife's house, flat in West London, and it became apparent to me very early that I needed to find a way to put my stamp on this place, right? So Clemmy, bless her, has a lovely flat, but it's just quite girly, right? It's got family photos everywhere. It's littered with Sandra Bullock DVDs and rose patterned linen and things like that, right? So you can't walk in and hang up your Johnny Wilkinson poster or whatever it might be, but I thought I can try and put my stamp on this flat. So there was still is this balcony that hangs off the kitchen, and then it was seriously unloved. It was literally and figuratively an ashtray, and I thought this is my chance to put my stamp on it. And really create an urban garden that we could be proud of, that we would love having a coffee on in the morning, love having a barbecue and inviting friends round, and grow some plants. So I thought I'll dedicate a long weekend to it. I took a Friday and a Monday off to this little project, and went down to the local garden centre, which had closed about a week prior. And the guy said to me, "We just can't afford the rent anymore. It's just too expensive." I then managed to borrow Clemmy's parents' car from their home, also in West London, and drove down to an unnamed superstore garden centre in Wandsworth area, where the selection was really uninspiring and there wasn't much of a service there. So I didn't really know going into this place what I wanted or what I needed. So then I went, well, surely I can go online. There's bound to be something that I can find there. But just found a load of fairly decent e-commerce suppliers, but they were much more tailored to experienced gardeners who measured their outdoor space in acres rather than in square feet. It was photos of meadows rather than little brick-built balconies. So in the end, pretty frustrated, I went to another local garden centre, spent an absolute fortune on plants and pots, and bought totally inappropriate plants that all died within 2-3 weeks of me planting them. So I was just so despondent. I was so frustrated, having come into this experience with so much enthusiasm and excitement, to come out of it again a few weeks later, almost at the point of tears with frustration. So I thought, I worked in brand strategy at the time, and put my kind of strategy hat on and thought, there's an opportunity here that I think could be really huge. Can I get excited about it? So I went off and read a few books, watched a lot of Gardener's World, and thought, yeah, this is something I really want to do. So I kind of built the proposition. I did a load of customer interviews and did some quantitative research, and came and saw a load of investors, including Forward partners, who we then agreed to work together over the last 12 months. I was looking for a partner to help me not just back the business, but also really build it, right? And I think going to angels can be hugely beneficial if you've got a very clear idea about what you want to do and how you're going to go about it. But at that point, as I say, I just had a PowerPoint slide with a lean canvas on it, with just an idea about what problem I was solving and how I was going to solve it. But I wanted to test so much more, and I wanted to work with experts in their field to try and make that a reality. Getting going was a challenge. I went full-time in April last year, 2016, and we wanted to launch on the 1st of May. So that first 4 weeks was incredibly intense, but also probably the most exciting 4 weeks we've had over the last 12 months. So much progress was made, so many great ideas were thrown around. There's so much energy and excitement around it. But that was also challenging to keep up. So, grow from a really strong start was a challenge, and keep up that level of energy was almost exhausting, but ultimately was hugely rewarding. So I suppose in the second 6 months of the year, it's been more of the same, right? We've had a brilliant last 6 months. We've done a huge amount, but again, keeping up that level of energy and excitement is difficult. But I suppose slightly more personally, one of the biggest challenges has been going from founder to CEO, right? So you've still got to apply all those same soft skills. Displaying passion and energy and determination on a daily basis, but you've got to take your hands off every single aspect of the business. Well, not every single, but you've got to be able to put your faith in other people to do the job ultimately in a better way than you can on your own, because you're spread too thinly. So letting go of the reins a little bit in terms of things like customer service and marketing and trusting people to do that and do it well has been challenging. And on top of that, finding a slightly different role for myself in being able to manage the team and manage what is now a business rather than just an idea in the first 6 months. So putting in place helpful processes, finding and hiring the right people to take on these new roles has been challenging, but so exciting and so much fun. Across the board, really. Fundamentally, they've put capital into the business, which is the oxygen of any young business or any business. But on top of that, the product team, the value that we get from not just the investment, but the guys working in the business I don't think you can really put a price on, right? So you've got the product team who work across development, design, UX. You've got PR, help with talent, help with marketing. All of these things have helped us grow significantly quicker and better as well than we would have done if I, for example, raised some investment from some angels. Having people who've been there before, who know the questions that you need to answer weeks before you've even considered them, is invaluable. Just the level of excitement around it. It feels like the energy around Silicon Roundabout, and I'm sure beyond it, is enormous. I was at a talk the other day at Shoreditch Town Hall by Sam Altman, who runs YC. And the queues for this thing were round the block, like round several blocks. It was crazy. And people walking past, taking photos, asking, is Beyonce playing? It's if you didn't know it by now, it's confirmed. Like, tech stars are the new rock stars in the beginning of the 21st century. And that's mad. But if Patch is part of the tech startup world, then, and I suppose we are, then it's great to be a part of that. Well, as a product of all that excitement around tech startups in London, is the fact that there are thousands of great ideas, great startups, great businesses operating in London, and you can understand why. It's a great place to start and run a business, but it makes things incredibly competitive for some of those vital resources of a business, right? So finding people, the market is so competitive for finding the best people, and obviously finding money as well. And listen, these are ultimately great things. Competition is good, but it does make life a little bit more difficult. I'd say take care predominantly of yourself, because if people around you can sense that your energy's low, that you're stressed, that you're frustrated, then it very, very naturally and very quickly breeds among your team and among people you work with. and that's not good. You don't want that. So the best way to prevent it is by looking after your well-being and exercising and eating well, and perhaps I forewent that a little bit too much in the first 6 months, but doing my best to reverse it. What's next for Patch? Today is our last day at Forward Partners in the office here. So we're moving to new digs in Battersea, which is we'll feel quite a way away from Silicon Roundabout, but we're excited to be there. It's very close to our supply chain. We are midway through raising some money to support us for the next 18 months. We've got some great developments in our product and in our customer experience that we're going to be launching over the next couple of weeks, which are really exciting and really support our mission, which is to help, as I say, young people and the millennial generation get into gardening. So we've got a lot to look forward to, but equally it's I suppose a poignant day today that we're leaving Forward Partners. We've been such great partners for our business and will continue to be for hopefully many years.